Hey, it's Mark from Caliber Home Loans. So today I just want to shoot a quick video, instructional video on how to find property tax information on a home that you're thinking about buying. Property taxes can make up a substantial portion of your monthly payment, and you need to know what that looks like at the point of closing. And then we'll talk a little bit about how to estimate or guesstimate what your property taxes will look like after the home is reassessed by the city or the township. So let's go ahead and get started. So you're out there looking for houses and you found one you liked, and we need to do a deep dive on the property taxes just to make sure that the monthly payment is correct. So I picked this house at random. I like to use Redfin just because of the way it's laid out. It's whatever you feel most comfortable with. Redfin does a pretty good job with property taxes. So when you're on their site, just scroll down a bit. You're looking for where it says financial, and this will tell you what the property taxes were. So it has summer and winter taxes, but we don't know if they're actually summer and winter of 2021 or winter of 2021 and summer of 2022. So the best way to check that is to go to this. There's another website from the state of Michigan called BSNA, and I'm going to show you how to find those property taxes. So this is the website at BSNA. So when you first come into this part where it says City of Rochester Hills may not be there. So you want to click on this green arrow or the green check, and it'll bring up a secondary screen where you just type in Rochester Hills. So it'll self-populate. So click on Rochester Hills, and then the house we're looking at is 149 Foxborough. And just click search. Don't put drive or street or any of that. So where it'll come up, it'll show you the address, it'll show you the parcel number and the current owner. So just click anywhere in that line, and it'll should bring up your tax information first. So scroll down just a bit, and you'll see where it says winter and summer taxes. And this goes back a ways. You can keep loading more years. So we just want to look at this point. We just want to look at the last two property taxes. So Rochester Hills is already loaded in their winter taxes. So you would take the 1664.35 and the 1936.80, add those together, divide by 12, and that would be your monthly property taxes. And this is the number that's used to qualify you. And if you have an escrow account, that's how much you're going to the 1/12 of the annual taxes you're going to pay with your mortgage payment every month. So that gets us to where we are currently. Now, the next step is we need to figure out where we're going. So what will taxes look like after the city reassesses? So I'm going to go to the property information tab, and I'm going to look, and I'm going to say, okay, I've got a history now. So currently the assessed value is $127,580 and the taxable value is $119,300. There's a reason why that gap exists, and I have a separate video that explains that in detail. So what we're looking for is this general annual increase of the assessed value. So I'm going to go back to 2019. So it was basically $6,000, $4,000, and then it looked like it actually dropped to $127,580. I'm not quite sure why that happened, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that $127,580 and I'm going to increase that by $7,000. I'm going to assume that next year, after you buy the house and they reassess next year, that the assessed value would be 127, or I'm sorry, I'm going to add 7,000, so 134. Let's call it 134. So the reason that's important is because they're going to uncap your taxes and recap your taxes. So there's another website, Property Tax Estimator. So let's assume we add the 7,000, and so now in the taxable value, we're going to put 134. So we'll type in 134, and then we're going to select the county that we're in. So we're in Oakland County, and then we're going to choose the city, and we are in Rochester Hills. And then we have to pick the school district. It's important that we pick the correct school district. So on the property information page from BSNA, it says that the school district is Rochester. So we're going to pick the Rochester School District. I'm sorry, the Rochester Community School District, and so you'll see that these taxes are $39.17. So for an annual rate, now they are behind a year on the millage rates, but it should be pretty close. The reason we do this, it gives you an idea going forward what your property tax is going to go to. So it's going to increase your monthly payment. If you have an escrow account, it's also going to cause your escrow account to go short. I also have a video on that that kind of explains why that happens. But you need to know before you buy the house what it looks like today, how that impacts your closing costs, what your payment's going to look like, and then what the potential increase in your property taxes are. Now, the problem with property taxes are you can't call the city and ask them and say, hey, what do you think the property taxes are going to be next year? Because they probably don't even have the assessed value figured out yet. And even if they do, they're not going to tell you. They just won't tell you. So we're going to have to throw a dart. So the best way to do that is to make sure your lender, whoever your lender is, does what I'm doing and has that conversation with you. You may want to discuss exactly how far to increase the assessed value based on the last year or two, and then plug in the numbers and go from there. So again, so 39.17, what we think they're going to go to, and currently they're at, let's see, they are at, they're pretty close. They're pretty close. So they're at about 3,600. So they're going to go up a little. They're not going to go up a lot. But again, so when they do the reassessment, they do a 2-year rolling average of what they think that property is worth. And it's not specific to your property unless it's a new construction. It's more or less the area that the house is in. So they do a general, what they think the appreciation has been. Now 21 and 22, there's a tremendous amount of appreciation. So when they do this, we may not have padded enough. We may have padded it too much, but it looks like they're going to go up, but not a lot. So it just depends on how long the seller has been there. So the longer the seller has lived in the home, that wider the gap between the taxable value and the assessed value. So again, it's really important that you look at this and you do the math, because if the seller's been there for 15 years, then that gap's going to be really big. And when they uncap the taxes and recap, you're going to get a huge boost in your taxes. I just had a client that went up almost $500 a month after they reassessed, but we knew that going in, and we had that conversation, and he was good with that. So you just need to know what you're looking at. So give me a shout if you have any questions. Mark from Caliber Home Loans, 248-705-8431. Thanks, and have a great day.